There was a time when sleep felt like a gift that came freely. You didn't have to chase it. You simply closed your eyes, and before you knew it, you had slipped into the soft, warm silence of rest. The kind of sleep that cradled you, restored you, and returned you to the morning with a clear mind and a calm heart. But somewhere along the journey, often quietly, without warning, that gift begins to fade. Especially after 70, you start noticing it little by little. You go to bed at your usual time, but sleep doesn't arrive when it used to. You toss and turn, trying to find that one perfect position. You stare at the ceiling, watching shadows shift across the wall, counting the minutes, then the hours. Or maybe you do fall asleep, only to wake up at 2, 3, sometimes 4 in the morning. And once you're awake, you feel as though your body is tired, but your mind won't stop moving. You lie there, still, silent, hoping sleep will return, but it doesn't. So you wait, and listen, to the sound of the clock ticking, to your own breath, to the stillness of a house that has long since fallen asleep without you. You tell yourself this is normal, that it's just part of aging, that everyone goes through this. And while that's partly true, what most people don't realize is this: sleep doesn't leave you simply because of your age. It begins to slip away because of changes in how your body works, how your brain resets, and how your internal systems respond to the world, especially what you feed them. After 70, everything becomes more sensitive. Your digestion slows, your metabolism shifts, your hormone levels fluctuate more than before. And suddenly, things that never used to bother you, a cup of tea, a small dessert, a salty snack, start to matter in ways you didn't expect. Many older adults think they have insomnia, but what they really have is a body that's being overstimulated by certain foods that interfere with natural sleep signals without ever showing up as obvious symptoms. You're not imagining things. You're not weak. You're not broken. You're simply at a stage of life where your body speaks in whispers, not warnings. And if we don't listen, we begin to suffer in silence. That's why this video exists, to bring those whispers into the light, to show you how something as simple and overlooked as a daily snack or evening meal could be the reason you're still awake at 3 a.m., wondering why rest won't come. Because sleep isn't just about tired eyes, it's about peace, it's about healing. And most of all, it's about giving your body the space it needs to let go. Tonight, you deserve that. Not just the idea of sleep, but the real thing. And sometimes the path back to that peace begins with your plate. They don't come with warning signs, no flashing labels, no obvious danger. In fact, many of them are foods you've been told are good for you. Healthy, light, heart-friendly. Some are comforting, some bring back memories, and some have been part of your evening meals for years. But after 70, your body becomes a different landscape. One that responds differently, more delicately, to what you put inside it. You may not feel the effects right away. There's no stomachache, no allergic reaction. Just a quiet consequence that shows up later when you're lying in bed, wondering why sleep won't come. Let's start with something as simple and surprising as dark chocolate. It's praised for its antioxidants, its heart benefits, and even its supposed brain-boosting power. But for someone in their 70s, just a small square in the evening can contain enough caffeine to disrupt your body's ability to wind down. And it's not just the caffeine. Chocolate also contains theobromine, a natural stimulant that increases your heart rate and subtly keeps your brain alert. You may think it's harmless, but your nervous system may be quietly resisting rest hours after you've taken that last bite. Then there are spicy foods: chili, curry, black pepper, garlic. For some, they're a source of comfort. For others, a flavor they can't live without. But the heat from spicy dishes raises your core body temperature, just when your body is trying to cool down for sleep. They also increase the risk of acid reflux, especially when eaten late, which can cause your body to stay tense through the night, even if you don't feel obvious discomfort. And what about aged cheeses and processed meats, like salami, bacon, sausage, or smoked ham? They contain a compound called tyramine, which stimulates the brain to release norepinephrine, a chemical that heightens alertness. It's subtle, yes, but when you're over 70, subtle is enough to shift your entire night. You might enjoy a glass of wine in the evening, a ritual, a moment of pleasure. At first it makes you drowsy, but alcohol has a hidden cost. It suppresses your REM sleep, the deep healings your brain needs most. So you might fall asleep quickly, but wake up feeling fragmented, tired, as though you never truly rested at all. And then there are the surprise ingredients in your so-called healthy meals: added sugars in yogurt, hidden sodium in soup, preservatives in canned vegetables, all of which make your digestive system work overtime when what it really needs is stillness. The problem is not the food itself, it's the timing, the quantity, and the sensitivity of your changing body. After 70, your system is no longer built to handle stimulation the way it once did. It needs nourishment, yes, but it also needs peace. And peace doesn't just come from the absence of noise. It comes from the absence of agitation, even the kind you can't see. So if you've been lying awake at night without understanding why, look gently at your plate. Because sometimes, what keeps you awake isn't your thoughts. It's what you've eaten hours before, when all you wanted was comfort. We often think of sleep as something that happens in the bedroom, with pillows, silence, darkness. But long before you lie down, long before the lights are out, your body has already started preparing or struggling. Sleep is not a light switch. It's a biological symphony, a quiet cascade of hormones and signals, all working in harmony to ease your body into rest. But some foods, especially in the evening, interfere with that music. They throw off the rhythm. They silence the instruments your body depends on to tell your brain, it's time to let go. Let's talk about one of the most common culprits: refined carbohydrates. Things like white bread, rice, pasta, sugary snacks, even low-fat cookies. After 70, your body processes these foods differently. They cause a spike in blood sugar, followed by a sudden drop, a crash that can jolt the nervous system into alertness. You may not notice it right away, but a few hours after that sweet snack or harmless cracker, your body responds. Your heart rate rises, your brain becomes slightly agitated, and you wake up confused, unrested, unsure why. Even if you don't consume coffee, you might unknowingly take in hidden caffeine, in decaf tea, in chocolate, even in certain medications for pain or allergies. And as we age, our liver becomes slower at breaking down caffeine. What would have left your system in a few hours at 40 now lingers until well past midnight. Another disruptor many forget is alcohol. It may help you fall asleep quickly, but what it really does is interrupt deep sleep. It blocks REM cycles, making your sleep shallow and fragmented. You may sleep for 7 hours and still wake up feeling like you haven't slept at all. Then there's digestion itself. Heavy, rich foods in the evening, fried dishes, fatty meats, even creamy soups, keep your digestive system working long after you lie down. And when your stomach is awake, your brain often is too. This is especially true after 70, when the digestive process is slower, less efficient, and more easily overwhelmed. And remember, the gut and brain are in constant communication. When the gut is inflamed, bloated, or overworked, it sends distress signals upward, tiny invisible alerts that say, something's not right, stay awake. So if you've ever woken up feeling unsettled, restless, or inexplicably anxious in the middle of the night, don't dismiss it as random. Your body was responding to something. And quite often, that something was a decision made at dinner. This doesn't mean you have to fear food or stop enjoying meals. It simply means you begin to listen more closely to the way certain foods make you feel, not just during the day, but in the middle of the night. Because sleep isn't just about how you rest, it's about what you carry into the night. In your mind, yes, but also in your bloodstream, your stomach, your cells. And once you understand how certain foods speak to your body, you can begin to make different choices. Softer ones that say, tonight I want peace, not stimulation. And the body, when treated with that kind of care, almost always responds with gratitude, in the form of rest. It's easy to talk about food. It's even easier to talk about sleep. But what's harder to say out loud is how sleeplessness begins to shape how you feel about yourself. At first, it seems harmless. 1 or 2 restless nights, a bit of tossing and turning. You tell yourself it's normal. You'll catch up tomorrow. You're strong. You've lived through worse. But then, the nights keep coming. And suddenly, you're waking up tired. Not just physically, but mentally, emotionally. You misplace your keys. You forget the names of people you love. You walk into a room and can't remember why. And in those small moments, a quiet kind of shame begins to grow. You start to question yourself. You feel slower, unsure, fragile in ways you never used to. And then come the emotions. Little things irritate you more. You lose patience with others, with yourself. Your fuse gets shorter. Or maybe you don't feel much of anything at all. Just numb, fuzzy, drifting. That's what poor sleep does. Not just to the body, but to the soul. It steals clarity. It chips away at joy. It makes the world feel heavier, even on days when nothing is really wrong. And here's the part that often hurts the most. No one sees it. Because you're still functioning. You're still showing up, still smiling, still saying, "I'm fine." But inside, you're tired. Not just from the night before, but from many nights before. And you may never suspect that part of the reason you feel this way isn't because of age or stress or time, but because something on your plate has been quietly taking your rest away. And when rest goes, so does resilience, so does clarity, so does peace. But let me tell you something with all the gentleness I can offer. You are not broken. Your emotions are not failing you. Your mind is not betraying you. Your heart is simply asking for what it needs. A chance to rest, a chance to restore, a chance to feel steady again. And often, the first step toward healing is not a big change or a new medication, but a small decision. To eat differently, to listen more closely, to stop feeding your body things that wake it up when it's begging for stillness. Because when you begin sleeping deeply again, something beautiful happens. You smile more easily, you think more clearly, you move through your day with quiet confidence. You begin to recognize yourself again. Not just the you from years ago, but the version of you that feels most like home. And that feeling, that peace, it's not gone, it's just waiting. Waiting for you to reclaim it, starting with the choices you make tonight. The beauty of aging is that you don't need to prove anything anymore. You've lived, you've loved, you've learned from both joy and hardship. And now, your body deserves something sacred in return. Ease. Not restriction, not fear, not harsh rules, just ease. That's what your evening meals should offer you after 70. They shouldn't make your body work harder, they shouldn't confuse your brain, and they certainly shouldn't rob you of rest. So let's talk not about what to cut, but what to gently replace. If your evenings include tea or coffee, even decaf, try swapping them for a warm cup of chamomile, lemon balm, or lavender tea. These natural herbs don't just soothe the stomach, they tell your nervous system softly, it's time to let go. If you enjoy a piece of chocolate after dinner, try reaching for a slice of banana instead. Bananas contain magnesium and tryptophan, both of which support the body's natural sleep hormones. Add a spoon of almond butter and you've just created a bedtime snack that calms instead of stimulates. Love cheese or cured meats? Try switching to fresh mozzarella, plain cottage cheese, or a soft-boiled egg. These provide protein without tyramine, which can disrupt your brain's ability to unwind. Craving something savory late at night? A small bowl of warm oatmeal with cinnamon can help stabilize your blood sugar, which prevents those 3 a.m. crashes that leave you wide awake. If wine has been part of your evening ritual, consider shifting that glass earlier in the day, or better yet, trade it once or twice a week for an herbal mocktail. There are beautiful combinations now, ginger, mint, hibiscus, that comfort the senses without disturbing sleep. The goal here is not perfection. It's not to live in fear of food. It's to give your body what it's quietly asking for: support, gentleness, care, because the body changes, and so must the way we nourish it. What felt fine at 40 may now feel heavy. What once energized you may now overwork your heart. And what once helped you unwind may now keep you up all night. But that doesn't mean you're weak. It just means you're different. And different isn't bad. It's honest. Once you begin making these gentle shifts, once you stop pushing and start listening, you may find something beautiful happening in your life again. You start sleeping deeply, quietly, naturally, and when you wake you feel clear, balanced, more yourself. Because rest doesn't come from trying harder, it comes from honoring who you are now and giving your body the foods that say, I see you, I respect you, let's rest tonight. There's something no one really prepares you for. That sleep, the thing you once took for granted, becomes more precious and more fragile the older you get. When you were younger, you could sleep through anything. Noise, stress, a late meal. You could stay up late, eat whatever you liked, and still wake up the next morning, ready to go. But now, after 70, sleep becomes something you must protect, because the body no longer produces as much melatonin, the natural hormone that helps regulate sleep. Your sleep cycles shorten, meaning you get less deep restorative sleep. And even small disruptions, a full stomach, a stimulant, a noisy thought, can send you into hours of wakefulness. It's not just about being older, it's about how the body softens, slows down, becomes more sensitive. And that sensitivity isn't weakness, it's wisdom. It's your body saying, please treat me gently, I've carried you this far. And yet, so many people keep treating their sleep the way they did at 40, eating heavy meals at 8 p.m., having a glass of wine every night, taking sweets to bed, not realizing that their system, now slower, more delicate, can't recover the way it used to. And the result? You lie awake, your mind spins, you feel tired but not sleepy, exhausted but unable to rest. And slowly, your days begin to feel heavier, your thoughts less clear, your emotions more fragile. This is not a coincidence. It is the direct result of ignoring the quiet needs of the aging body. But here's the good news. You don't need to overhaul your life to fix it. You don't need a new medication or a complicated routine. You simply need to recognize that the rules have changed. That what your body needs now is less stimulation, more softness, less sugar, more balance, less guesswork, more listening. Sleep after 70 is not just about energy, it's about healing. It's during sleep that your brain clears waste, a function scientists now believe may reduce the risk of Alzheimer's. It's when your heart rate slows, your muscles repair, your immune system strengthens. Sleep is where your body becomes whole again, where your spirit can return to stillness. So yes, sleep after 70 is more fragile, but it's also more sacred, more essential, more worthy of care. And when you start to treat your sleep with that same respect, by choosing foods that calm you instead of waking you, by honoring your digestion, by making space for quiet nourishment, your body will respond. Not immediately, not all at once, but night by night you'll feel it. The return of rest, the return of clarity, the quiet joy of waking up and saying, I slept well. That, at this stage in life, is no small victory. That is healing. Maybe it's been weeks, maybe it's been months, or maybe, quietly, it's been years since you last closed your eyes and truly slept. The kind of sleep that carries you not just into morning but back into yourself. And maybe, in all that time, you've blamed your age, you've blamed your thoughts, you've blamed your body, thinking it's just what happens after 70. But what if it's not just age? What if the food on your plate, the meals you trusted, the habits you kept have been quietly interfering with your peace without you even knowing it? This isn't about blame. This is about awareness, about honoring what your body is trying to tell you through restless nights and tired mornings. Because when you begin to notice the connection between what you eat and how you sleep, something changes. You begin to see sleep not as something that has left you, but as something that can return. With care. You make different choices. You choose calm over convenience, warm soup over heavy meat, chamomile over caffeine. You start listening to your gut, your breath, your mood, and slowly, almost imperceptibly, you begin to rest again. Not with force, not with pills, but with gentleness. You wake up feeling steadier, more alert, more yourself. And that feeling, that precious quiet confidence, it spreads into your day. Because when sleep returns, so does joy. So does clarity, so does hope. You are not too old to sleep well. You are not beyond healing. You are simply at a season in life where your body needs new kinds of care and new kinds of nourishment. And when you give it that, when you honor what it's asking for, you are rewarded with rest, with renewal, with peace. So tonight, before you close your eyes, ask yourself one small question. Did I feed my body with love today? Not perfection, not rules, just love. Because love, the kind that shows up in quiet choices, in small bowls of warmth, in saying no to what no longer serves you, that kind of love heals. And sometimes it heals in the softest way of all, by letting you sleep. If this video spoke to your experience, if you found yourself awake at night wondering why, we invite you to share your story in the comments. What foods have affected your sleep, and what gentle changes have helped? You are not alone in this journey. Your experience may bring comfort to someone else watching, someone who, like you, is just looking for a little more peace at night. And if you'd like more guidance on aging well, on sleeping deeper, thinking clearer, and living softer, we invite you to subscribe to Golden Pathways. Here, your journey matters. Your rest matters. And you still deserve the kind of sleep that makes life beautiful again.